What's going on, Knicks Nation? The New York Knicks drop a game to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Final score of 104-110. Appreciate every single one of you joining me for this Knicks post-game live stream. The Knicks fall to 1-2 on the season, and coming off that great win versus the Indiana Pacers, you thought that this offensive, that the offense was clicking in that game, and you thought, okay, they can build on this. But tonight's game was just, one of those games where just had a weird feel to it, man. I mean, the rotations were kind of off. First of all, the jerseys were, I don't like these jerseys. I think they're awful. The vibes were just awful. The whole game, the vibes were just off. Even though the Knicks had they took the lead there into halftime, had that great second quarter, scoring 34 points in that second quarter, and then it just came out of halftime flat. Third quarter of doom, right? And it sucks. It really does, because after that great showing versus the Indiana Pacers, but we move on. Big Task, what's going on? Knicks 100 GM, what's going on? Appreciate every single one of you joining me here tonight. We are just getting started. The New York Knicks fall to 1-2 on this young season. 3 games in, 1-1 at home. They couldn't get it done against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And look, credit to the Cleveland Cavaliers, man. They play very tough. They are very fundamental, very disciplined on defense. So credit to the Cavs. They're a tough team. There's a reason why they're undefeated. They're 4-0 on this season so far. I know they played crappy teams, but they came into MSG and absolutely, willed their way to a victory. They didn't back down. A lot of things to nitpick tonight, but, just wanted to get that out there. Credit to the Cavs, man. They're very fundamental, greatly coached team now. And, but the Knicks just couldn't get it done. Starts with JB. JB had one of his off games. Just an off game from Jalen Brunson tonight, man. I mean, there's nothing more to it. Hurt his knee there in that, I think it was in that third quarter, hurt his knee there, but just an off game from Jalen Brunson. And 8 of 24 from the field, 0 of 4 from 3, 21 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds. It's not a good game from JB. Not a good game from JB, and he'll be the first one to tell you that. Josh Hart, incredible game until he banged his knee. 16 points, 13 rebounds when Josh Hart was in the game, 4 offensive rebounds. These first couple of games in MSG, Josh Hart looks absolutely incredible. Hopefully he's okay. It's good to see Josh Hart, get back into his rhythm after his preseason. But Josh Hart with a good game as well. Calm Night, what's going on? Need more from Cat. Brunson was awful. Shouldn't be losing to the Cavs. John, how are you? Calm Night says disgusted. John, the Cavs hot start to the season and Knicks still gelling. It's games like this that will build and get you battle tested. Creed, Brunson played terrible. Cat was terrible. Dibs coaching was terrible. I never thought I'd say it, but I miss Randall. Just Knicks, what's going on? Air Hukporti. Shout out to Air Hukporti. Thibodeau made the switch, basically taking Jericho Sims out of the rotation middle of the game. And Hukporti came in and I thought played well in that first half. I thought he gave us solid minutes, even though you're not seeing it in the box score. 0 points, 2 rebounds. And you're thinking to yourself, that's it, +1 on the game. But just his energy, his spots on the floor, is great pick and roll player. I thought the changing point in tonight's game was his amazing dunk that he had, and the referees called an offensive foul. Can you say, did he kind of, take his right arm, and kind of hook his defender? Yeah, but, just let that go, man. Just let that go, man. I thought that was like a major momentum shift, because if you get that play, I think the Knicks are down 2 or 3, then we're rolling, gets the crowd involved, because MSG was just, it was just dead tonight. The Knicks didn't really give them anything other than the first half. It was just, the vibes were just kind of off in that second half. So Shout out to Hukporti. Huck. What's the nickname we're giving Hukporti? But hopefully he can build off of this. Hopefully he can build off of this. And shout out to Tom Thibodeau for making the switch. I've been calling for it in the post games, in preseason. I've been calling for him to make the switch, and he did. And look, Hukporti looked good, but all in all, Knicks lost the game, right? So, but shout out to Thibs making Hukporti, trusting him, right? Defensively too. I know it's not just his offensive. Defensively, I thought he did a great job on Evan Mobley, and his length was bothering him at times. Mobley hit some tough shots against Hukporti. But defensively, Hukporti played well, and we can build off of this. Oh, man. This was the tough one, man. This was the tough one. Appreciate every single one of you in here joining me for this post game. But, yeah, I mean, the Knicks got to figure out ways to get Cat more involved. I mean, 4 of 8 from the field, 13 points, 10 rebounds. He just wasn't really involved offensively tonight. And just looked off offensively. The whole thing looked clunky. The thing I didn't like with the New York Knicks is why go away from Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges, I think he was 4-6 from the field or 4 or 5 from the field in that third quarter, playing well. Cavs couldn't guard him. Majority part of the game, he had Darius Garland on him. Feed him. He played well in that third quarter. He was hurting the Cavs in that third quarter. And, he gets subbed out. Rhythm takes him out of the game. Knicks didn't go back to him in that fourth. OG Anunoby. He finished with 15 points, but majority part of this game, credit to Cleveland. They were kind of forcing the New York Knicks to kind of feed OG Anunoby on the low post. And the Knicks just, I don't know if they, that wasn't in their game plan, but they saw OG Anunoby at times being matched up against Garland and matched up against Donovan Mitchell. And they're like, okay, this is an easy matchup. But it was just awkward, getting Anunoby the ball was clunky. Anunoby at times turned the ball over. What did he have? 2 turnovers tonight. It was just awkward, and just one of those frustrating games, honestly, because I know we could have had more. We could have had a big game from Anunoby. Brunson was off, and Towns only attempted 8 field goals. So, and Mikal Bridges could have did more. Knicks could have got Mikal Bridges involved more. Excuse me, but it's good to see Mikal still shoot the ball well. But it's frustrating, man. It's frustrating. Calm night. It sucks losing to the Cavs. Death by Garland is actually nuts. Still learning by midseason. We will be rolling. Yeah, they are. And it's funny you say that because versus the Indiana Pacers, everything was just clicking. The box scores was amazing. Everyone played well in that game. And Cleveland coming in here undefeated. You have some momentum that you can build off of versus Indiana, and it just wasn't. I don't know. I don't like these jerseys. You guys like these jerseys the Knicks are wearing? I didn't like them. Just wear your home whites. I know you want to switch it up at times. I know I probably sound like the old man yelling at the cloud, but I didn't like these jerseys. And maybe, I don't know. It's just one of those off games that I just didn't really feel it all game. And I don't like this Towns 4 of 8 from the field. I mean, have to get him more involved. Only two 3-pointers today attempted. And, hey, it is what it is. McBride came in for Hart at the end, played well. To start this game, first of all, the New York Knicks, I think they shot 31% in the first quarter and 20% from 3. They were off. I mean, in the first quarter, and then credit to them, they bounced back. In the second, third quarter, they bounced back and played well. And then, the Cavs, credit to the Cavs, man. It's just they came out guns a-blazing in that fourth. Garland was hitting tough shots. And, yes, John, it's not how you start. It's how you finish. And it's as easy as that, right? It's not how you start. It's how you finish. And, I don't think we're ever going to see a game like this from Brunson. I don't, because he could have – tonight was weird because Cleveland was like daring the Knicks to beat them. There were times where they were putting Jared Allen on Jalen Brunson. There were times where they were putting Mobley on Jalen Brunson, Dean Wade on Jalen Brunson. And if Jalen Brunson sees that, you would expect him to win that matchup. But he didn't tonight. He didn't. And, whether that was in the Cavs game plan, it worked for them. There was times when Anunoby was down low against Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, and the Knicks just couldn't capitalize on those opportunities. Couldn't find ways to get Cat involved on offense tonight. But it'll come. Game 3. But I think so. I was reading on the MSG broadcast. 6 out of the next 7 games for the New York Knicks are on the road. And maybe that's a good thing. Get away from MSG, get some team bonding, build some chemistry on the road. You go to Miami now, and it's always a tough place to play down there. But build some chemistry, build off of things, learn from your mistakes tonight, and we just go from there. So, but Josh Hart was incredible. Had 9 points, 10 rebounds at the half. And then Anunoby should have. The thing I'm so frustrated with, Anunoby should have dominated this game. He should have. And he was a mismatch all game long. And the Knicks, for whatever reason, Anunoby likes to, his isolations can look a little bit awkward at times for OG Anunoby. And tonight he just looked awkward as heck. But he should have dominated this game. He should have. And he didn't. So Anunoby's the one player who kind of hasn't really got it going offensively for this Knicks team. I know he's been like 14 points, 15 points. But we can get more from Anunoby. And it'll happen with time. I know it'll happen with time. I know I sound like a broken record, man. Anunoby should have definitely dominated this game. John says, last year Brunson had to do everything. Now he has so much trying to figure it himself, even though I know it's still very early in the season. Things will take time. I mean, look, the Indiana game was so perfect. Like I gave the Knicks an A+ in that game. It was just so perfect for the Knicks. And for tonight to kind of, I wouldn't say like take a step back because we still put up 104 points defensively. I thought we looked solid for the most part until that fourth quarter. When Garland kind of ran amok on our defense. And out of all people, Darius Garland, really? Was running amok. What did he finish with? 34 points. 5 of 8 from 3. 33 minutes, 12 of 19 from the field. All over the place. Running amok from Garland. And it's the Jared Allen, 15 boards. Mobley, you could tell the Cavs don't want to play Mobley and Allen. But Evan Mobley looked okay, I guess. Dean Wade was an 0 for 1 point. Mitchell was, 24 points from Mitchell. You'll take that. But they couldn't stop Darius Garland at the end of the game, in the second half especially. And, hey, man, credit to the Cavs, man. They're a good, scrappy team. Like I said, they came in here with a good game plan. And fundamentally, they're a greatly coached team. They're 4-0 now. And for this Knicks team, with all these pieces, we've been saying it's going to take time. But I think tonight was frustrating because the game was in the grasp. Like the game was in hand for the New York Knicks. And they just couldn't, find their momentum in this game for the most part. So, but I love to see Hukporti out there. I really did love to see Hukporti out there and Tom Thibodeau making that switch. And who's to say now? Is Jericho Sims on the bench? Is Jericho Sims parked on the bench for this Knicks team? I don't know. 18 people in here. Smash the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Knicks dropped to 1-2 on the season. 6 out of the next 7 games are on the road for this New York Knicks team. And frustrating loss, man. Frustrating loss. And if we take a look at this Knicks schedule, right? Let me pull up the schedule really quick. Oh, man. Frustrating. So, to start the season, the NBA gave you 4 straight games against contenders. If you want to call a Miami Heat a contender. I mean, Boston, Indiana, Cleveland, at Miami. And Knicks are now 1-2 on the season, and now we go to Miami. Like I said, always a tough place to play down there, but you should be able to win. We got to know the status of Josh Hart. Hopefully he's okay. It looks like a shin bruise, if I was to guess, because he banged his shins, came into this game questionable. Maybe just precautionary. Got a game before Miami. Then it's at Detroit, at Houston, at Atlanta. To me, those are all winnable games. But it's gonna look funky at times. It's gonna look great, like it did versus the Indiana Pacers. You're gonna see games like that mixed in here and there because this is still new, and like I said, it's frustrating that we kind of took a little bit of a step back. But I want to see the Knicks try to get Cat more involved because 8 field goal attempts for Cat is just, it's not what you want, right? It's not what you want. And I know they're trying to get him more involved in the low post, and he's been great at it. And Allen is a great defender. Mobley is a great defender. So you can say they were kind of throwing a lot at Cat, but I want to see this get up to. He has to be attempting at least 15 field goal attempts a game. I don't want to say that because it depends on the game, but if Brunson's not having it, like 8 of 24 from the field, if he's just off, he has to realize, like, look, I'm off. Let me get others involved. Let me get Bridges involved. Bridges is playing well. Let me get Towns involved. Towns is 4 of 8 from the field, 50%. Let me get others involved. If I'm not shooting the ball well, let me get 10 assists. Let me get 11, 12, 13 assists. And it'll happen with time, but it's just frustrating that they couldn't get it done tonight. It's frustrating. Frustrating. Mike, what's going on, man? Appreciate you in here. Tough loss, but I'm not worried because we own the Cavs. This was just a game where we have a few things to fine-tune. Need more lobs to the center spot. Can't keep missing these easy twos. Brunson was missing a lot of easy twos. Anunoby was missing a lot of easy twos. Just frustrating, especially the Anunoby part. But, yeah, I mean, that's what I love about Hukporti because he just has a bounce to him. And it's weird saying that with, he's replacing Sims, who wasn't like he's a high flyer, Jericho Sims. But, I mean, Sims just hasn't really been providing us anything. And Hukporti brings that energy, came in here. But, yeah, the Knicks, those are the things that they'll figure out. The lobs. They'll come. If Hukporti's not going to play a lot, he's already shown you that he is not afraid to dunk on anyone. And I love that. And that play is so frustrating because if you're the ref, like, just let that go. Like, why even call an offensive foul? It got the crowd involved. Maybe the Knicks run off and win the game after that play. Hukporti is a rookie. He earned those minutes. And for you to call an offensive foul on that, I don't know, man. I thought the referee could have just let that go, man. Just let it go. Like, but they called it. It is what it is. But yeah, the Knicks. The thing is, the Indiana game was so fine-tuned on offense that tonight was kind of like, I don't know. Like I've been saying, the vibes were off. Like it's just awkward. No, like lifeless game until that Hukporti dunk. And not getting Mikal involved more in that fourth was kind of frustrating. But it's good to see Mikal looks incredible when he's, involved. And I mean, tonight is the Josh Hart it looks incredible. So those are the two positives from tonight. And Cat only shot 8 field goal attempts, so I'm not even gonna he just needs to shoot the ball more, and that will happen with time. John says, I'm surprised Thibs pulled the trigger so fast on Sims. Huck definitely looked good. John, I'm surprised too. I'm thoroughly surprised that Thibodeau pulled the trigger on Jericho Sims because last game, we've been calling for it. Those of you in the chat, I've been calling for it. I want to see Hukporti over Sims. The eye test, it just shows that Hukporti is the better player right now. And Sims' confidence, you can tell it's kind of wavering. He's just a body out there, not really giving you anything. And but credit for Thibs for catching that and making that switch. Smart kid, what's going on? Maybe play Cat more with the second unit so he can be the focal point. Yeah, I mean the Knicks are trying to do that. They've been doing that with Mikal Bridges, and that's gonna take time. These different lineups where you can try to get guys going individually. But to start the game, it's kind of like, okay, Brunson, let's see what you got. To start the game, they're running great sets to start the game. They're getting great looks. But it's a, I thought that the staggering of the rotations were kind of funky tonight. And maybe we could have saw, Daddy A in there, but he didn't play tonight. But yeah, with time, that'll come because the Knicks are getting Mikal involved more with the bench. And with time, maybe, they tried OG Anunoby in those lineups. But those lineups, like, you're going to have to wait like 10, maybe 15 games to kind of see where guys thrives in certain lineups. JJ says it seems like Campaign gets more shots up than Cat. Brunson has to get the guys the ball, in my opinion. Yeah, I love Campaign, man. He's not afraid to shoot it, and for good reason. If you're open, shoot the ball. I mean, especially if you're a great three-point shooter like he is. Maybe could have seen him a little bit more, but defensively, they were kind of taking advantage of that matchup. But yeah, I mean, you could tell Cat is kind of picking his shots, doesn't want to force it. But I think it's Brunson's the captain, right? And I feel like he's going to take it upon himself to go up to Cat and say, do your thing. Relax. I know I had a bad game. I took a ton of shots. Played like crap. I'm sure during the post games, Brunson's going to take ownership of this game. He played bad. But with time, that'll come. Cat just has to be a little bit more aggressive because he's too good of a player to be shooting 8 times in a game. Can't be doing that. And we can't keep being too hesitant because it's not going in. Got to still get them. Boston don't make 29 threes without 60 attempts. Yeah, man. Open, let it fly. That's the beauty of that Celtics offense. If move the ball, if you're open, shoot it. I don't care if you shoot 35% and the next guy shoots 40%. If you're open, shoot the ball. And I think Josh Hart has been better and has looked better and has been not afraid to pull that trigger. And like I said, even though Hart has been, left open, I don't care. Shoot it. If you're 1 of 5, 2 of 6, keep shooting those open threes. Hit him up. What's going on, man? I thought Ariel was Randall running up the court. He has a lot of speed. It's funny. Like at times you see Julius Randle in Hukporti. It's like Hukporti. Yeah, he has the same like mannerisms. JJ 47K says Thibs' system for this team is thumbs down. JJ, it'll take time, man. We saw an A+ game versus the Indiana Pacers. Tonight, the Knicks they were up by 10. They were up by double digits. And then Cavs hit them in the mouth and they just couldn't respond. So JJ, Thibs' system for this team is thumbs down. I don't agree with that at all because we saw their upside versus Indiana. It's 3 games in, guys. It's 3 games in. You could tell by the way Cat is shooting these low field goal attempts. You could tell he doesn't want to force anything. And Brunson has to take it upon himself and be like, yo, just play free. Kind of like what Anthony Edwards did and the Minnesota Timberwolves did with Julius Randle. Just play free, man. We run through you. Just play a game. But Cat, I think, has been great. It's just we need him to shoot more. Like, you can't shoot 8 field goal attempts. Hukporti definitely put Sims on the trade block tonight. He's just more of an active player on defense. Sims is just letting Garland lay up in his face. At least contest. Hukporti contests every shot. Beauty. Yeah. Yeah, Mike. Well said. And that's why we've been calling for Ariel Hukporti, Mike. That is the reason why we've been calling for Hukporti. And I didn't think it'll happen this soon, but it happened this soon for Ariel Hukporti. And I love it. I truly do love it. Let's go to Towns. 8 field goal attempts. He had a great game versus Indiana. So if you look at Towns' field goal attempts, 8, 11, and 9 versus Boston. And in the preseason, 20, 13, 16. So he's only been above double digits once. And that was versus Indiana, and he only took 11. And he had such a great game in that game. So that just tells me he doesn't want to force anything, and the Knicks are trying to fit him in, and it'll take time. Because in these 8 field goal attempts, he's making half of them. And the threes have, he's shooting damn near 50% from 3, but he's not attempting them. Only 2 threes a game he's attempting. So that will take time. And just hoping just hoping that will click. But 8, 11, and 9, from your second best player on your team, you want that to go up more. You really do. But love what we saw from Bridges. It's weird because I want to see more aggression. I want to see the Knicks involve Bridges more in that fourth, but yet I want to see the Knicks involve Cat more as well. But Brunson shouldn't have taken 24 field goal attempts tonight. Shouldn't have. And, credit to the Cavs for kind of confusing Jalen Brunson all game long. But he shouldn't have taken 24 field goal attempts. He should have, got the team involved a little bit more. Nostalgic, what's going on? Appreciate you in here. Appreciate every single one of you in here, man. Just chopping it up. Knicks lost 1-2 on the season. It sucks. But we move on to Miami. 6 out of the next 7 games are on the road. And for a new team building, chemistry, team bonding on the road, it's always a good thing. Don't hurt to go on the road and get away from New York and, bond more. And it's always good. But only 3 games, so. Creed says, I don't understand how Thibs takes Cat out for Sims in the middle of the first. Yeah, I talked about it a little bit. The rotations were a little bit funky. But, I mean, look, Cat is a new addition, right? And maybe Cat is like, look, I play half the first. You bring me in towards the end of the first like he did. So with time, the Knicks will figure that stuff out. But I thought that was a little bit strange as well. But when Precious is going to come back, that's not going to happen. Obviously, I think Sims is in the – I wouldn't say he's in the doghouse now, but it's a possibility. But, yeah, I mean, the rotations were funky tonight, but I think the more Thibs gets to know his guys, you're seeing him play. One thing that's clear is that Mikal Bridges has been playing the entire first quarter, and he starts the second quarter with the bench unit, and it seems like the Knicks are trying to get him involved more with the bench unit in that regard. I'm not sure if he used to do that in Brooklyn, like play the entire first quarter and then start the second quarter. And Mikal Bridges played 40 minutes tonight. 40 minutes for Mikal, 37 for Anunoby, 38 for Brunson, 38 for Josh Hart. And if you look on the Cleveland side, 28 for Dean Wade, 36 for Mobley, Jared Allen, 31, Garland, 33, Donovan Mitchell, 33. So, yeah, Thibs got to utilize his bench a little bit more, in my opinion. Maybe Daddy A needs to get in there because 40 minutes for Mikal, Anunoby, 37, Brunson, 38, Josh Hart, 38. The Knicks are thin right now, and it seems like Tom Thibodeau is relying on his starters a lot. But, we played Daddy A in game 1. Why not just throw him out there for 10 minutes? Throw him out there. Maybe he provides a spark, and we just go from there, because Mikal Bridges, 40 minutes in game number 3. How many minutes has he played? Last game, 33, because the Knicks were blowing them out. Knicks, 35, 40. But throw some Daddy in there. or Kolek. Creed says effing Sims. I think Sims is done. I think it's the Hukporti show. And shout out to Thibs for making that switch. I do. Smart kid. I think too many players are taking too many shots. I want Bridges, Cat, and Brunson taking most of the shots. Yeah. Bridges especially, and Cat. Brunson shooting over 20 times and not efficiently tonight was bad. It was bad. And it's a bad game from your star. Bad game from your superstar. But over time, that will come. Over time, that'll come. Mike says most of our ball handlers are score or shoot first. We need a pass first oriented guy out there sometimes to get the other players going. This is why we want Kolek out there. He's going to find the guys to get shots we want them to have, like the lobs. Yeah, Mike, it's a good point. I think, look, I want Thibs to utilize his bench more, whether it's Kolek or Daddier. You gotta, in my opinion, you gotta play one of them. You got to. Gotta alleviate some of the pressure. I know you want to win these games, and I know it's an Eastern Conference contender, but in my opinion, you have to see if they can provide you something. And whether I think more so it could be Daddier, because he's proven that he can spot up 3-point shoot. He's a great cutter. Played him in game 1. And it's like versus Indiana, the game was so great, so you can't even say like why didn't Daddier get out there until garbage time. But tonight, he could have mixed some of those guys in. Could have mixed Kolek in certain situation. Could have mixed Daddier in. I played Hukporti, made that switch. Payne played okay. So, how many guys did the Knicks play tonight? You played 10 guys. No, you played 9 guys. But Jericho Sims only played 4 minutes. So, like, you're playing 9 guys, but Sims only played 4 minutes and didn't play the second half. So, essentially, you're playing 8 guys. And an 8-man rotation in game number 3. Come on. It's not what you want. I know McBride started slow, 14 points, 6 of 12 from the field. But somebody else has to get in there. Daddier or Kolek has to get in there. Especially if you're going to make that switch, Hukporti over Sims. So your guys off the bench will be McBride, Payne, Hukporti. Got to be someone else. Even for 10 minutes. What do you guys think? Hukporti? Daddier or Kolek? JJ says, what happened to Brunson Towns combo? Dib system for this roster. Bridges and Cat are both much better than this system shows. JJ. Brunson and Towns, the combination will take time. We've seen it in glimpses. I know you don't want to hear that. It's game number 3, JJ. We still have 79 games left. So these things take time. Karl-Anthony Towns is not going to be shooting 8 field goal attempts. He's not. He is going to, when he gets in the rhythm, he's going to take 10 to 15 field goal attempts a game for the majority part of the season. Brunson and Cat will form the chemistry. Brunson has already said that he is taking it upon himself to build that chemistry with Karl-Anthony Towns. It is going to work because the Indiana game showed you that it will work. But games like tonight, and I keep crediting the Cavs because the Cavs came in here with a great game plan. Great game plan for the Cavs. Such a well-coached team already, 4-0. And that's a team that, you're going to have to go through in the Eastern Conference, right? So you're 1-2 against contenders. And with that one win coming against Indiana. So we just have to see what they do against the Miami Heat. Vertify, what's going on? OG had a diff matchup. Surprise offense went cold. Do not agree with you. I don't think we need to put in Daddy Kolek over Payne. I'm not saying play Daddy. I'm not saying play him like 15, 20 minutes. I'm just saying sometimes find some spots, some lanes for Pacom Daddy, where you can maybe get him 5 minutes or maybe get Kolek 5 minutes, because you're not going to stick with an 8-man bench. You're not, it's too early to just be going 8-man off the bench in the second half. It's too early. And I know we're down a lot of guys, and that's why Thibs has kind of been doing that. But it's just my observation. Just my observation. Brunson has to make shots, shoot first league. Brunson has 7 assists. Yeah, that's the thing, man. Brunson has 7 assists, but I feel like going back to his box score, 21 points, 7 assists. That's the upside of Brunson. That 7 assists could have been 11 tonight, 12. Maybe you take 4 less shots and you make 4 different reads with your sets. But he's our star. I mean, you want him taking the majority of the shots. And it was just an off game. 8 of 24. 8 of 24 from JB. 7 assists, 21 points. So, 7 assists, yeah, but I feel like that could have been a double-digit assist game for JB. But Josh Hart, man, I just want to, Josh Hart, for him to have the preseason he had, and then for him to come out here and these last couple of games versus Indiana versus tonight, just, there was a sequence early on in the game where the Knicks grabbed an offensive rebound. I think Sims started it, grabbed a great rebound, and then Hart grabbed another offensive rebound, and then, they got a layup out of it. Those are the moments that you kind of want to see more of, and as time goes on, as players get comfortable, you will see more and more of those moments. But tough game for the Knicks. We get them on Wednesday versus Miami Heat. Appreciate every single one of you joining me here tonight. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will bounce back. It's only up, man. I mean, it's still early, but hey, hopefully we can overcome some of the little kinks on offense and get it going against the Miami Heat. Appreciate every single one of you joining me tonight. Have a good night. I'm Anthony from Knicks Nation. Peace.